My name is Daniel Hayes, 44 years old, HVAC technician, husband of 16 years, at least on paper. If you ask people who know me to describe me, they'd say I'm the quiet guy, the one who fixes things, lifts heavy boxes for neighbors, shows up early to work, and never asks for much. But what they won't tell you is that for the last 2 years, I've been married to a woman who stopped looking at me like a husband, and started looking at me like a burden. Her name is Rebecca, Becca for short, 39, real estate agent, the kind who posts motivational quotes on Instagram about knowing your worth and protecting your energy. Funny thing, though. She only seemed to protect her energy from me. I didn't realize how bad it had gotten until the night everything changed, the night she said the words that would scorch themselves into my memory. It was a Saturday. We were at a neighborhood barbecue hosted by our friends, Mike and Jessica. They had one of those Pinterest-perfect backyards, string lights, a fire pit, a new Traeger grill they wouldn't stop bragging about. Everyone was drinking, laughing, music playing, kids running around with sparklers. Typical suburban summer evening in Ohio. And then, the toast happened. Mike poured drinks and held up his glass. To good friends, he said. To surviving another week of adulthood. Everyone laughed. Then someone, don't even remember who, joked, to the wives who still kiss their husbands even after all these years. It was a dumb joke. A harmless one. The kind that rolls off the back of normal people. But Rebecca? She took that moment, that harmless comment, and used it like a dagger pressed against my dignity. She wrinkled her nose, lifted her wine glass, and said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Kiss him. Please. I'd rather kiss my dog than kiss you. It landed like a grenade. A beat of silence. Then the explosion. Everyone burst into laughter, big, roaring, tipsy laughter.
Before we begin, if you enjoy stories that touch the heart and remind us of life's quiet miracles, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It truly helps our little storytelling family grow.
Like she just cracked the funniest joke of the year. Even Jessica, who usually stayed out of messy couple humor, covered her mouth to hide a snort. I felt heat crawl up my neck. The kind of heat that isn't anger, isn't embarrassment, it's something deeper. Something that comes from being publicly stripped of whatever pride you had left. Even Mike muttered, damn, Becca, but he still chuckled. I forced a smile. That's what husbands like me do, right? Smile. Shrug. Pretend it doesn't bother us. Pretend joking about us being undesirable, unkissable, unworthy, is normal. Even our dog, Harley, trotted over to her, tail wagging, as if on cue. Rebecca bent down and kissed the dog on the head. If I want affection, she said, I'll get it from someone who appreciates me. Another wave of laughter. Someone slapped my back. Come on, Dan, she's just messing. Sure. Sure she was. Except she wasn't. Not really. Rebecca hadn't kissed me in months. Hadn't touched me unless she had to. Hadn't even looked at me like a partner, let alone a husband. I swallowed the humiliation, took a drink, and pretended I didn't see two guys whispering to each other, glancing my way with pity. Pity. I'd rather they laughed. Pity cuts deeper. But what happened next, that was the moment something inside me snapped. As the night went on, Rebecca got tipsier, louder, meaner. Not outright insults. Just little digs. Comments about my dad bod, about how I never want to dress up, about how I'm not exactly romantic. But around 10 p.m., I walked into the kitchen to get another drink, and I heard her voice from behind the half-closed pantry door. She was whispering with Jessica. No, not whispering, complaining. I just don't feel anything for him anymore, she said. It's like kissing drywall. I swear, even Harley is more affectionate. Jessica murmured, maybe you guys just need to reconnect. No, Rebecca cut in, I need someone who makes me feel alive. Someone who tries. Not someone who checks out the minute he comes home. My chest tightened. My throat went dry. And that was when she said it. The words that didn't just hurt, they killed something inside me. Honestly, Jess, sometimes I think I married beneath me. I froze. That was it. The moment my love for her changed. Not disappeared. But changed. It twisted, soured, curdled like milk left out in the July heat. I left the party without telling anyone goodbye. She didn't even notice. Not until hours later. But by then I'd already decided something silently, internally, without needing to say it aloud. I was done being the husband she could humiliate publicly and privately without consequence. I didn't know what I would do. Not yet. But the fuse had been lit. And when it burned down, when it finally reached the end, Rebecca would feel the explosion. And I promise you, she never saw it coming. The shift. When I got home that night, the house felt different. No, I felt different. Something in me had shifted, like a tight rope snapped loose in my chest. For 16 years, I'd been a man who tried. Tried to make her happy. Tried to provide. Tried to fix everything with patience, silence, and humility. But that night, I realized something brutally simple. Trying doesn't matter to someone who doesn't value you. So I stopped trying. Not out of pettiness. Out of self-preservation. Rebecca came home around 1:30 a.m., heels in her hand, laughing on the phone with someone, probably Jessica. When she saw me sitting on the couch, she frowned. Why'd you leave without telling me? I met her eyes. Calm. Empty. You seemed busy. She rolled her eyes. Oh, don't be dramatic. Dramatic. Funny word, coming from someone who could weaponize sarcasm like a blade. She went upstairs without another word. Normally, I would have followed, asked if she needed water, rubbed her back, checked on her. She rolled her eyes. Oh, don't be dramatic. Dramatic. Funny word, coming from someone who could weaponize sarcasm like a blade. She went upstairs without another word. Normally, I would have followed, asked if she needed water, rubbed her back, checked on her. Instead, I stayed downstairs and slept on the couch. In the morning, I expected her to at least mention the humiliation from last night. Not apologize. Rebecca didn't apologize unless it benefited her. But acknowledge it. She didn't. She breezed past me, grabbed her coffee, and said, Harley needs more food. Don't forget. That was it. Not a word about the joke. Not a word about trash-talking me to our friends. Nothing. But here's the thing about quiet men like me. We tolerate a lot. We bend, we adapt, we compromise. But once we're done permanently. Rebecca didn't notice my shift at first. Not when I stopped making breakfast for both of us. Not when I stopped texting her, how's your day? Not when I stopped offering to wash her car or pick up her dry cleaning. Not when I stopped agreeing with everything just to avoid conflict. But she noticed when I stopped doing the one thing she thought she was entitled to. My emotional availability. When she came home stressed, I'd say, that's rough, and go back to what I was doing. When she complained about her boss, I didn't offer solutions. When she started a fight, I didn't defend myself, I simply walked away. And it drove her insane. Soon she was picking fights daily. "Why are you so blank lately? It's like you're checked out." "I'm just tired," I'd say. That irritated her even more, because Rebecca loved, and expected, attention. She didn't marry a man. She married an audience. And suddenly, I wasn't clapping anymore. The real turning point happened 10 days after the barbecue. She walked into the kitchen, all dressed up, perfect hair, perfect makeup, holding her phone like it weighed 1,000 pounds. "Can we talk?" she said. I leaned against the counter. "Sure." She hesitated. Rebecca never hesitated. "I feel like there's distance between us." "There is." She blinked, not expecting bluntness. "Well, why? Did I do something?" I raised an eyebrow. She swallowed. "Is this about the barbecue?" she asked. I didn't answer. She continued, "Dan, it was a joke." "Was it?" She crossed her arms. "You know how our friends are. Everyone jokes." "Did you mean it?" She stiffened. Because honesty was easy when she was making fun of me behind my back. Not so easy face to face. She took a long breath. "I don't want to fight." "You weren't fighting at the barbecue," I said. "You were performing." Her mouth pressed into a thin line. "I'm sorry if it hurt your feelings." "If?" She exhaled sharply, annoyed that I wasn't letting this slide the way I usually did. "Fine. I'm sorry it hurt your feelings." It was the most hollow apology I'd ever heard. I nodded. "Noted." She frowned. "That's it? That's it." She stood there for a moment, confused, frustrated, thrown off balance. And for the first time in years, she had no control. She walked away. I stayed in the kitchen, staring at the tile floor, knowing something monumental had happened. A wife can survive her husband being angry. She can survive him being jealous. She can survive him being possessive. But a wife who relies on attention cannot survive her husband becoming indifferent. And Rebecca? She was about to learn what indifference felt like. The realization. Over the next few weeks, I changed. Not intentionally. Not dramatically. Just naturally. When something inside you breaks, you move differently. Think differently. See differently. And for the first time, I saw our marriage for what it truly was. A one-sided arrangement where I gave, and she took. Where I accommodated, and she criticized. Where I showed loyalty, and she showed embarrassment. One night, she approached me in the living room. "Do you still find me attractive?" she asked. I looked up from the TV. "Why are you asking?" She shifted her weight, arms crossed, her defensive stance. "You haven't tried anything. You haven't kissed me. You barely even look at me." I shrugged. "You said kissing me was like kissing drywall." Her face paled. "That was a bad joke." "Bad, yes," I said. "A joke?" "Not really." She swallowed. "Do you even want this marriage?" she whispered. Did I? I wasn't sure. But I gave her a diplomatic answer. "I want respect." Silence. She didn't respond. She couldn't. Because somewhere deep down, she knew she had crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. But the moment everything truly cracked wasn't a fight. It wasn't a confession. It wasn't dramatic. It happened on a random Wednesday evening. I walked in from work, tired, covered in dust, and there she was, sitting at the kitchen island, scrolling her phone, glass of wine in hand. She looked up. "Hey. Hey. Dinner's in the fridge," she said, not looking at me. I opened the fridge. One container. One meal. For her. Nothing for me. Before, I would have brushed it off. But that night, I realized something brutal. I wasn't a husband in her life. I was a roommate she barely tolerated. That night, I made myself a sandwich, ate alone, and went upstairs. When I walked past the bathroom, I heard her sniffing. Crying. I paused. For most of our marriage, hearing her cry would have sent me running to comfort her. But this time, I didn't feel anything. Nothing. And that terrified me. Because when you stop hurting, you stop caring. The end came 3 weeks later. It didn't explode. It didn't erupt. It didn't involve screaming. It came quietly, calmly, like a door gently closing after years of slamming. We were sitting at the dining table. Rebecca had cooked dinner, her peace offering. Lasagna, garlic bread, salad. She lit candles. She wore a dress. She even put on perfume. It was the first effort I'd seen in months. Maybe years. We ate in silence for a few minutes. Then she set down her fork. "We can't keep going like this," she said softly. "I agree." She inhaled shakily. "Dan. I miss us." There was a time those words would have shattered me open, filled me with hope. Now they just felt like lines in a play we'd outgrown. "Do you?" I asked. "Yes," she said, voice cracking. "I know I've been difficult. I know I hurt you. But we've built a life together. A life where you don't respect me," I said. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "That's not true." "It is." She wiped her face. "I was stressed, insecure, overwhelmed. And I was your punching bag." She sobbed harder. I stayed calm. Detached. "Dan," she whispered, "I can do better. I can change. I can." I held up a hand gently. "Rebecca. I don't want you to change for me." She blinked. "Then what do you want?" I took a deep breath. For the first time in 16 years, I said the words I never thought I'd say. "I want out." Her face crumbled. What do you mean?" "I want a divorce." No, please, Dan, don't say that." She pushed back her chair, panic taking over. "You're just hurt, you're angry, we can fix this." "Rebecca," I said softly, "I'm not angry." That was what scared her most. Because anger means you still care. Indifference means you don't. She shook her head violently. No. We can go to counseling, we can take a trip, I'll stop joking, I'll do whatever, just please don't leave me. She reached for my hands. I gently pulled mine back. And that broke her. Her breath hitched. Her shoulders collapsed. "Please," she whispered, "I'm begging you. I'll do anything. I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry for the barbecue. I'm sorry for everything. Please don't throw us away." Her tears fell onto the table. But it was too late. You can only push a good man so far before he stops being your safe place. and becomes a stranger you once knew. The consequence. The next morning, I packed my things. She followed me from room to room, pleading, crying, apologizing. When I reached the door, Harley, the dog she once said she preferred over me, sat beside me. I knelt and scratched behind his ears. "You take care of her, buddy," Rebecca sobbed. I walked out and closed the door behind me. Not slammed. Closed. Quiet. Final. Epilogue: What crushed her. 6 months later, I heard through mutual friends that Rebecca had changed. Completely. Stopped drinking. Stopped making sarcastic jokes. Started therapy. Started apologizing to people she'd hurt. Started admitting she used to treat me like a trophy she'd grown tired of polishing. But the thing that crushed her, the moment that finally broke the illusion she had built, it wasn't the divorce papers. It wasn't the empty house. It wasn't Harley sleeping on my side of the bed. It was seeing me at the grocery store, smiling, healthy, confident, pushing a cart with another woman beside me. Not a rebound. Not a fling. A woman who looked at me with warmth. A woman who listened. A woman who kissed me in public without shame. Rebecca saw us. And in that 1 second, she realized. She didn't just lose me. She lost the version of me she never appreciated. She'd spent years comparing me to a dog. Now she would spend the rest of her life missing a man who would have given her the world. If she hadn't mocked him in front of it.